Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of the movie Honest Thief. So let's get into it. Honest Thief is simply a new Liam Neeson action movie. And I had no idea this movie even existed, let alone coming out, especially in the year 2020. But I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw a box office report that showed this new Liam Neeson movie being at the top of the US box office, which isn't a whole lot to say this year because we've had a very small and dwindling box office. But hey, if they want that medal, it's all theirs. They still got it. But anyway, I saw it and I thought, oh, Liam Neeson. I like Liam Neeson. There's a new action movie in theaters. Now I have a reason to go to the theaters again. So I went out on Liam Neeson's name alone. I saw no footage of the movie prior, not a trailer, not a TV spot, no commercials. I only saw the poster with Liam Neeson on it, and that was enough to get me to the theater. And that proves that Liam Neeson is still a box office draw. People want to see him in these type of roles, like his Taken roles, like his nonstop roles, like the roles from The Grey, him in these action scenarios, because that was literally enough for me to go to the movies. And I went, and you know what? It's a good time. Is it great? No. Is it any of Liam Neeson's best work? No. Will it stand out amongst his filmography? Probably not. And in fact, I think the reason why it kept its 2020 release date was because the movie itself just doesn't have that pedigree beyond Liam Neeson to push it anywhere else. I think honestly, this movie could have came out on straight to DVD, and it wouldn't have made much of a difference. That's not to say the movie's bad. The movie is not bad, but it is like a $5 DVD bin type movie. You kind of know what you're getting in terms of action and in plot and in depth and all that stuff. I still enjoyed it, but it was very cookie cutter. With that, though, even though it is an enjoyable time, my two takeaways were this: Liam Neeson is getting old, and you can see it in this movie, and this movie needed a better script because the premise is really great. The premise is Liam Neeson is this former bank robber who's done lots of heists, for lack of a better term, and he accumulates all this money, and then he falls in love, and he wants to turn himself in to clear his name to start a new life. And then when he goes to turn himself in, the cops or the FBI agents involved in bringing him in realize, oh, we can rob this guy, we can take his money, and then they frame him, and that's the premise of the movie. So the idea is really great. The idea of this former thief getting tangled up in these greedy cops and now having to clear his name while also being a legitimate thief with a legitimate record is really interesting. However, though Liam Neeson does do a good job, he is getting up there, and that's evident in this. The action sequences, while some were good, others were bad, and you can definitely see the sluggishness and the slowness of Liam Neeson. Whether that's also a stunt coordinator issue, I'm not sure, but there were a few moments where I was like, "Ooh, he looks like he's really panting and he's really grunting," and I don't really know if that's so much the character as that is Liam Neeson himself. I'm not saying he should stop making these movies. Like I said, I want to see more of them. However, this could be a sign of the times, that he maybe has a decade left in him to do these type of movies. There is some nice visceral action to it. There is some good aspects to it. However, I felt that overall it was just kind of standardized. Liam Neeson isn't even the best part of the movie. The supporting cast is much better than Liam Neeson's character, and again, this is where I get back to the writing, because you have this great premise, but it's executed just kind of in a sloppy way. It's there and everything, but it's kind of like wet clay. There's a lot you can do with it, but ultimately you just have this ball of clay, and you have to figure out what to do with it. The way they convey information, I thought, wasn't the best. You know, there are times where there's just exposition dumped on you, and you're supposed to just take it as an audience member. You know, at one point you find out that Liam Neeson's character has a military service record. That's how he has these skills, this combat proficiency. You also find out why he was a bank robber to begin with. However, they come too late in the movie for you to really feel the emotional weight to them. And honestly, you don't really care. You just view them as excuses for him to have skills, for him to have a record, for him to be where he is and where he needs to go to. They should have made that more evident at the beginning. But besides Liam Neeson, though, this is crafted well enough to where it is enjoyable, because you have the two FBI agents, one of which I know the name of, the other one I don't. One of them is played by Jai Courtney from the Suicide Squad movie. He plays Captain Boomerang. He's awesome. He's underrated, and he does a great job. But it's the supporting cast of characters that really flush it out, because Liam Neeson's character is not interesting enough to propel this story. It's not the character that leads the story. It is everyone around Liam Neeson that's constantly going at him literally, or they're trying to get information out of him, and he just happens to be caught up in this tangled mess, which I don't think was intentional, but that's just how it ended up being. Liam Neeson as an actor is not to fall for this, but again, it is just a scriptural issue of the writing. The writing needed to be more tighter, and there needed to be more substance for your lead ultimately, not just these expositionary details of like, oh, he is this and he's done this and he has this and he wants to do this. No, you need to either present that early on or even show it to us. Whereas with the motivation behind the FBI agents to become greedy, to break their oath of, protecting the law and serving the people and stuff, you get that. You understand, like, oh, I know why they're doing this, and that is great. And yeah, so I mean, it's fine. I was very happy to go back to the theater, but it's not the one that's going to pull you back to the theaters if you're looking for an excuse to go back. For me, I don't need much of a reason to go, though I like to see new things. The reason why I said this one got me excited to go to the theaters was because this wasn't playing stuff I've already seen. This is something new. And is it anything to write home about? Not really. But is it good enough for a 90-minute session of stuffing popcorn in your face? Absolutely. And I think Liam Neeson really has this niche for himself. I think he will go down as being a legitimate action star, in the sense that we will view him as that. We will not so much view him as being, Qui-Gon Jinn. We will view him as being the Taken guy and the guy from The Commuter and maybe the guy from Honest Thief. But it's really just kind of this okay B-list movie, because the premise is great. Overall execution, not so much. But anyway, that is my review of Honest Thief. If you like this video, comment, share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.